two objects are. Hundreds watching the live video feeds. Hear what sounds like an astronaut overcome with fear. Highly trained astronauts screaming out in terror. What's going on? November 24th, 2014. A Russian Soyuz spacecraft carrying replacement crew approaches the International Space Station. As you get closer and closer to the space station, you need to make sure that the position and angle of the spacecraft is just right. The Soyuz is commencing undocking procedures when the sound of a woman's shout echoes out through the live video feed. The voice is Samantha Cristoforetti, Italy's first female astronaut. Suddenly, Cristoforetti yells out in Italian, "Oh my God, oh my God!" And the Russian cosmonaut who's with her is saying, "Calm down, calm down." The clip of the astronaut's remarkable outburst goes viral, with many online commentators claiming that it is a cry of fear. This is unprecedented. Here she is, apparently screaming in terror. What did Cristoforetti say? Analysis of the video feed reveals two objects that seem to appear just before Cristoforetti cries out. You can see two small but clearly defined objects passing across the camera. It's not an optical illusion. It doesn't appear to be an effect of the camera. They really do seem to be objects there. It's very suspicious that you see these two objects first. Then Cristoforetti starts screaming, "Oh my God." Some have attempted to explain the lights as reflections from pieces of space-time, but there are problems with this theory. Astronauts are quite used to seeing debris outside the windows, so I don't think that was something that shocked them. A more intriguing possibility is that the bright dots in the video footage might actually have been tiny spacecraft. There's this new class of spacecraft called CubeSats. These spacecraft are very tiny, just a little square that's 4 inches by 4 inches by 4 inches, and it's about 3 pounds or a kilogram of weight. CubeSats were originally invented to show students how to build satellites. Now NASA and other agencies are using them for missions to the moon and even other planets. By pure chance, a batch of the tiny craft had been released not long before Cristoforetti's arrival at the ISS. In 2014, we launched about 33 of them, all out from the space station. I can imagine that if I were up in space and I saw 4 of these little objects coming toward me, I wouldn't quite know what to think of them at first. I wouldn't quite know what they were. 2 days after the sighting, Cristoforetti writes her own explanation of what she saw in an entry on her blog. Cristoforetti said that because of the way the seating is configured, she only first caught sight of the ISS very late, so she's suddenly confronted by this spectacular view. There's a lot of awe-inspiring and fantastic moments, and the first one is when you see the International Space Station. The colors, I mean, the sun hitting the solar panels, to just have this new glow like it's in a campfire. It's just incredible to see. Cristoforetti cried out, not in fear, but in wonder. When it's your first time coming to space, no matter what training you've had, you can be overcome by just the sheer beauty and the unexpected. Even from mankind's first missions to the moon, there are questions left unanswered. As we continue to explore the solar system, it becomes clear how little we understand, and how ever advanced our technology becomes. Space will continue to shock and awe the men and women who face its dangers. It was mid-morning, and I was getting ready to exercise, and we just started getting into our mid-morning routine, if you will. Okay, that's on my way. We gotta call it, we're having a red conjunction. We're looking at what the heck is a red conjunction because we haven't really trained for it. Astronauts on the International Space Station prepare for impact. A chunk of an old rocket body is heading their way. It was a little bit chaotic because this is the first time we had one of these. The International Space Station is traveling 17,000 miles per hour, or 22 times the speed of sound. The astronaut is coming at them head-on, just as fast. It gets hit by something relatively small. Penetrates, but because the pressure inside it just forces the module to open up, just like a balloon burst. And that happens extremely quickly, and with no chance that an astronaut in that module could ever get out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Outer space. The vast frontier beyond our atmosphere. A pristine vacuum. Until recently, that is. After decades of heavy use, the orbits around our planet are now full of junk. Space junk is all the stuff that we've launched into orbit that no longer serves a useful purpose. So it's satellites, it's rocket bodies, it's old gloves, it's toolkits that astronauts have accidentally dropped. Basically, litter that we've left in space. But why should we care about overcrowded orbits in space when we've got plenty of traffic congestion right here on Earth? Because from GPS to cell phones to the weather forecast, life as we know it on Earth cannot function without satellites above. Unless we tackle the debris problem, there is going to be no weather forecast. There is going to be no news story from the other side of the world. You're not going to be able to turn on the television and see the World Cup. There are over 1,265 satellites operating overhead right now, and each one needs a clear lane in order to travel safely. No one thought orbital debris was much of a threat until around 1970. A NASA scientist named Donald Kessler started making calculations and realized that leaving junk in orbit is a formula for disaster. People tend to think of orbit like a road through space. I mean, as long as you stay on your road, you're not going to get hit. It would be more accurate to think of the Earth as being one big paved planet. And when you want to go someplace, you drive in a straight line from one place to another. And of course, there was no stoplights and no place to stop. And you're going to be running at each other all kinds of directions. That's exactly what you got in orbit. So I ended up with an equation where I could write the spatial density, its apogee, and inclination. Then you can do neat things like, well, Donald Kessler's key insight is that when chunks of spacecraft collide into one another, they splinter into more space junk. If you want to know the flux, the spatial density, each collision sets off an exponential cascade of collisions that will eventually destroy every satellite in orbit. This death spiral is now known as the Kessler syndrome. And running over the volume. In other words, if you never launch anything else in space, there will still be this cascading phenomena that continues to grow and actually continues until you essentially grind up all the satellites and into small dust particles. Princess SDN-26, no time critical behaving, no satellite detections, good FX6. All data feed channels are open and both communication lines to the site are good. No people with TPs, we just execute. Copy that, ma'am? The United States Air Force Space Command takes Donald Kessler's predictions very seriously. Those objects are going 17,000 miles an hour. And when you're going 17,000 miles an hour, it does not take a big piece of debris to ruin your day. In the early 1980s, they started keeping tabs on any orbital trash larger than a baseball. Back then, there were 6,000 such objects. For decades, that number grew only slightly. An international agreement kept space junk under control, by sending used rocket bodies down into the upper atmosphere, where they harmlessly burn up. That plan worked until 2007, when the Chinese fired a missile into a weather satellite they no longer needed. It was proof that they could hit such a target and destroy it. I think they did that because they realized that the United States military is critically dependent on space. And they felt like if they were going to be able to effectively respond to whatever challenges they have in the future, they needed to develop a way to challenge our space capabilities. Basically, there's not a single military operation that takes place in the world today that is not critically dependent on space capabilities. When space goes away, we do not fight as effectively